Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down the 6-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm really feeling the support from you guys the last few videos, really greatly do appreciate it. I've been up around like 50 likes the last couple of videos, which is way more than I've typically been receiving on this channel. And I just want to say thank you, and I'm actually thinking about doing a different segment. I think a like goal, like showing appreciation, I really appreciate it, and I want to kind of reward you guys with. So I'm thinking about doing maybe like a new segment. I'm looking for some feedback in the comments. Maybe some stuff you'd like. I'm thinking like a 50 like goal. If we get to 50 likes the next video, I'll give you guys my dark horse play of the day. So kind of like a sneaky play with some backed up research as to why I like them, things like pitch data, kind of like what I do with my home run call, but it'll be a whole different segment of a completely off the board play that a lot of people might not be aware of, being a good play that I've scoped in on and giving you guys some help in tournaments that way. So if you like that idea, go ahead and comment down below and tell me that you do. And if you have something else that you think would really benefit you and help as far as the like goal, I'm open to all ideas, so leave those down below. And I also do want to give a shout out to my man Jack. Last night he came in top 10 in both FanDuel and DK GPPs in the from the video he said. So I'm really glad to see you guys succeeding, and I want to give a shout out to Jack. So congrats on the big wins, Jack. He's now a KJK DFS Patreon, joining the team. I think you're going to really like the package, and for anyone else that's looking to get real serious about MLB DFS, check out my Patreon package, link below in the description. You get access to all of the tools that I use when creating my own lineups, things like my starting pitcher data sheet, hot hitter StatCast data, splits leaderboard, team hitting data, bullpen data, my power rankings, and my cheat sheet. And I've also received some feedback on maybe adding some top stacks tools over there, my top stacks on both sites. So I'm going to be working on getting that included into the package too. I'm always working on improving the package. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down the slate today. Congrats, Jack, again, and let's get into it. As always, we're going to go ahead and sort my sheet by carry. It's fantasy sports. You get points for strikeouts. Figure out the top pitchers that we like on the slate, and then we'll get into the bats second. And the top guy on the slate today is going to be Dinelson Lamet, taking on the Colorado Rockies. 33.8% carry overall, a 14.3 swinging strike rate, 35.7% carry rate against righties, and then a 32.3% carry rate against lefties. So really dominant stuff in Colorado today, unfortunately, which isn't exactly the best pitching environment. And it does look like it's going to be really bad weather. I'm not even sure this game's going to play. It's looking real rough. It's going to be raining through like 1 a.m. I have a feeling this game's not even going to play, but we're just going to talk about it in case it does. I guess I'll make it quick because it's pretty simple. I mean, Lamet's a great play as far as what he's done the last time out and his, working his way back from injury. We've only seen him throw around 30 pitches a game, so that's an issue. The problem is the pitch count. And apparently, he came out of the game early last time, and it was because of rust, not because of injury. Little scary going to him so far. Typically, we'd say, great play, but we got to see his pitch count go back up before we do. So I'm going to say don't play Lamet. Tyler Mahle, second on the list, taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates, coming in with a 26.1% carry overall, a 28.1% carry rate against righties, and then a 24% carry rate against lefties. So really a lot better against righties than he is left-handed pitch hitting. So we do prefer to target him against pretty right-handed heavy lineups, if at all possible. But he is in Pittsburgh. It's a great pitcher's park. Pulling up the diagram here for you guys so you get a visual. PNC Park, great to limit those home runs to all these big home run hitters that we see in the league now. So I always like targeting pitchers here. And Mahle taking on a Pittsburgh Pirates team. That's not exactly, the worst in the league in K rate, but they really don't scare me. The top of the order doesn't strike out quite as much as the bottom, but once you get down to the bottom, you guys like Todd Frazier and Jacob Stallings and names that there's definitely going to be some strikeouts to go around. Mahle comes in at 8.9 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got him priced at 9.4. Definitely think he's one of the best pitchers on the slate today, without a doubt. Comes in as a 137 favorite, and as mentioned, in a good pitcher's park. And then Mitch Keller, second guy here in the same game, 24.6% K rate overall, a 29.2% carry rate against righties, and then a 20% carry rate against lefties. He has really struggled against left-handed hitting. I don't know why I keep saying pitching. Sorry. He's really struggling against left-handed hitting, but for the most part, the Reds are pretty blended here. So definitely worried about the lefties in Jesse Winker, Mike Moustakas, Tyler Naquin, Tucker Barnhart, decent bat, but really nothing special, I guess. If you even want to call him decent, I'm not too worried about Tucker Barnhart, but those three guys could really cause him some issues. But other than that, I think that we could be looking at a pretty good performance from Mitch Keller, and he's priced very reasonably on FanDuel, 7K. You get a pretty good discount there, and then over on DraftKings, they get a price at 6-8. So with his price tag and everything, I think he's like one of the best pitching options that you could play at a discount. Because, if you got to pay up for those bats, I have no issues with you going down to him. We got Jordan Holloway taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. You can see I highlighted here in my key probable opener and long reliever. So the reason that he's highlighted in green is because he's expected to be the long reliever in this one. Then we got Ross Detweiler, who's expected to open this one. So we'll start with Detweiler. He's been really bad pretty much overall. The ground ball and the fly ball stuff's good, but a 542 slugging unit up to righties, a 391 slugging unit up to lefties. So he's actually pretty good against lefties and not so good against those right-handed bats. And we're looking at the Arizona lineup, the top of the lineup, because that's going to be the guys that he's taking on to start this game out. They are pretty left-handed heavy for the most part. They got Carson Kelly and Christian Walker that are right-handed bats. So just keep in mind, as far as the opener is concerned, really bad against righties. So those righties at the top of the Arizona Diamondbacks lineup, you could be having a lot of interest in, to get off to a hot start there. And then Jordan Holloway is going to take over from there. We're only dealing with a 10 innings pitch sample size, but overall has been pretty effective so far, only allowing a 200 slugging to righties, a 235 slugging to lefties. Looks to be a lot better against righties than lefties so far as the ground ball and fly ball stuff, so maybe factor that into your analysis a little bit. And overall, I mean, in Arizona, it's a pretty good hitter's park. Pull that up for you guys here. You can see a lot of triples, doubles, home runs, pretty friendly as far as Chase Field's concerned, and especially friendly to right-handed bats. Left-handed bats. The right field line, really friendly. So, especially the lefties in Arizona, always like to target them. And as mentioned, Holloway's going to be a little bit worse against his lefties so far. Only a 10 innings pitch sample size, but I feel pretty good about targeting the top of the lineup with all these things being said. The opener's not so good against righties, and then you got the switch hitters that can take over when they go to the long reliever and Holloway. And yeah, I think the Diamondbacks is going to be a pretty fairly good stack today. As far as, targeting them, we're talking about pitching right now, but I don't know. I just don't think these Miami pitchers are going to be too scary. And I think a big reason we're talking about hitting so early is because the pitching is very limited on this slate. So I don't usually, if you've been watching my content for some while, I go along with the pitching, then we get into bats, but I think we're kind of getting the bats a little quick here because these are the top guys in carry, and they're really not that great in the hard contact and all that stuff. Luke Weaver taking on Miami. Miami team that isn't the greatest, but honestly, I'm not really looking to target Luke Weaver all that much. Decent option, has a decent K rate, but ground ball, fly ball stuff, hard contact stuff is all pretty bad, and I think we have a lot better spots on this slate today. Alex Wood and Kyle Gibson, both pitching in San Francisco. It's a great pitcher's park. And they have pretty good numbers. So San Francisco here, Oracle Park, you can see not exactly the friendliest hitting environment for those home runs, which is a big part of my analysis. And then when we're looking at the weather, it's expected to be like 66 degrees. And it's only a 3.82 implied run total for the Giants and a 3.18 implied total for the Rangers. So both these guys expect to go out there and pitch pretty good ball games. 22% K rate overall for Alex Wood, 11.9 swing strike rate. 22.3% K rate against righties, and then a 21.1% K rate against lefties. And more importantly, he's taking on a Texas Rangers team that has just been striking out a ton to start the season. A team that we've been targeting all year long. He comes in as a 153 favorite, and I do think that Alex Wood's going to be a great play on the slate today. Top price pitcher on DraftKings over on FanDuel. They got him priced at 8-9. And I think for good reason. I mean, we've been able to target this Texas team all year long. Alex Woods looked pretty good early on. It has had some really good games. Last time out against Colorado, not the greatest, but it was in Coors Field, so we don't even have to worry about that. And I think that Alex Wood's going to be, possibly the top pitching option on the slate when you're factoring in the matchup, the ballpark, the Vegas lines, and all that stuff. I think he's a great option for sure. Kyle Gibson taking on the San Francisco Giants, also in the same game, a great option. 21.6% K overall. The ground ball and the fly ball stuff's really good. A 24.8% K rate against righties, and then an 18.1% K rate against lefties. The only problem is his matchup, taking on the San Francisco Giants. They haven't really been striking out the most. They definitely do strike out a lot more against right-handed pitching than they do left-handed pitching, so I'll say that Gibson does have that going for him. But when we're comparing these two pitchers in this game, I think I do lean going towards Alex Wood with the matchup and the Texas Rangers. I think they should have a lot more strikeout upside to provide Alex Wood, and he would probably be my lean if I'm picking between these two top options in this last game. But once we get past them, I'm not really looking to play any of these guys outside of Martin Perez taking on the Baltimore Orioles. He's an option because the Orioles have been striking out a ton. Perez's numbers really aren't going to blow you away. It's more so the matchup at 18.5% K overall. The ground ball and the fly ball stuff's all respectable. The hard contact rate's good. He has a 447 slugging given up to righties, which is not good. But the ground ball and fly ball stuff's good again. And it's lefties. He's really, really good. Left-handed pitcher himself. And, you know, he really doesn't strike out many hitters. It's going to be a matchup thing that gives him the boost to get those strikeouts. And he's a 147 favorite. So if you want to go down to him, no issues. Definitely not my top pitcher on the slate, but at a discount, maybe a guy you could be looking to. And with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. We kind of got into bats a little bit there. And this Colorado game, if it does play, no doubt in my mind, the San Diego Padres are going to be the top team to stack on the slate today. In Colorado, they get to take on Antonio Senzatella, who doesn't strike out anyone. The ground ball and the fly ball stuff's good, but he gives up a 470 slugging to righties and a 483 slugging to lefties. And Coors Field, one of the best hitting environment with the San Diego Padres lineup. They're really good up and down. Like I said, this game's looking real rough. I don't even know if it's going to play. It looks like it honestly isn't going to, but if it does, Trent Grisham, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Eric Hosmer, Will Myers, Jake Cronenworth, every single one of these guys in this lineup are going to be tremendous plays. I'm going to have a lot of interest in them. Next, we got Jose Suarez taking on the Houston Astros. This is a guy that has been very, very bad. I think he might just be expected to be kind of like an opener here, but they're going to try to get some innings out of him. And I said that I'm going to have a lot of interest in the Padres. It looks like that game might not play, and if that game doesn't play, the Houston Astros become the clear top stack. It's not even close. Hard contact is terrible. 41.1% fly ball rate, 36.3% ground ball rate. Gives up a 640 slugging to righties, a 50.9% hard contact rate, a 443 WOBA. That's all really, really bad, guys. And then a 409 slugging up to lefties. Ground ball, fly ball stuff still really bad against those lefties. Does have a 28.4% K rate against left-handed bats, so much better against righties. But these right-handed Houston bats are just in a tremendous spot tonight. Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, Yulieska Gurriel, Osmendi Diaz, Miles Straw, Martin Maldonado. Any single righty that cracks this lineup is going to be at the top of my list today because this guy is just that bad against right-handed hitting and that bad in the hard contact category. I mean, he's not going to have a fun day taking on these Houston Astros in Houston. Not to mention, I always bring this up. Great ballpark to target right-handed hitting because if you look at the chart here, down the left field line, it's very friendly to right-handed pull hitters. Only a 315 foot distance as far as breaking that wall. And yeah, I'm going to love me some Houston righties today for sure. Martin Perez taking on the Baltimore Orioles. I mentioned maybe being able to play him. You could also definitely play some Orioles bats against him, specifically right-handed bats. A 440 slugging given up with a 341 WOBA. He's a lot better against lefties. I'm not looking to target them. But the right-handed bats with power on Baltimore have no issues with going to today. Most notably, Austin Hayes, Trey Mancini, Pedro Severino, Maikel Franco. Those guys definitely going to be my top options in the offense. And then you got Ryan Mountcastle, Freddie Galvis, Velika, and Urias to round out your stack. Definitely think they could be some viable plays. It's going to be a lot lower owned than you would think. We had mentioned Detweiler as the opener and Holloway as the long reliever taking on Arizona. We kind of already broke down their splits. Detweiler really bad against righties, and then Holloway more so bad against lefties. So a nice little blended stack will probably pay you well if you're going with Arizona today, and I have no issues with that. We're still waiting on some Vegas lines, but Arizona, great hitters park I had mentioned. Pavin Smith, Asdrubal Cabrera, Christian Walker, David Peralta, Carson Kelly, Eduardo Escobar, Nick Ahmed. Pretty good lineup up and down if they get the right matchup. Not the most elite offense in the world, but they can definitely do some damage, and I think they're going to be viable plays today. Cincinnati taking on Mitch Keller. Really do prefer to target the left-handed bats against him. A 5'11 slugging, even up with a 392 WOBA. Really bad on the ground ball, fly ball stuff. Does give up some hard contact to right-handed bats as well, though, and we just know this Cincinnati offense has been one of the hottest ones to start the season. Cooled down a little bit here, and they have a few guys, most notably Eugenio Suarez, who's really been struggling, but they're definitely going to be a viable offense to be stacking up in this one. Pittsburgh, not the best hitting environment, but especially if the San Diego Padres Colorado Rockies game gets rained out, our options are going to be somewhat limited as far as games on the slate, and they're going to crack the viable options for sure. Mike Moustakas, Nick Castellanos, Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez, Tyler Naquin. Especially those three lefties in Winker, Moustakas, and Naquin. All three of those guys have a bunch of power, and they're in a good spot taking on Keller, so no issues going to them. Jorge Lopez taking on the Boston Red Sox has been a guy we've really been targeting. He's been terrible. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good. Hard contact's not good. Gives the 428 slugging to righties, and then against lefties is where it gets really, really bad. A 567 slugging, 39.9% hard contact rate, and a 393 WOBA against left-handed bats for Jorge Lopez. So going to be a tremendous spot for these Red Sox lefties. Alex Verdugo, Rafael Devers, we're really going to like them. Marwin Gonzalez is a switch hitter, and then got Franchi Cordero at the bottom of the order. But Alex Verdugo and Rafael Devers really stand out. Most notably, Rafael Devers. Looking at my Patreon tools and what I provide over there, my hot hitter StatCast data, Devers really is standing out as a guy that's been hitting the ball really well. A lot of exit velocity coming off his bat, so like him a lot. Kyle Gibson and Alex Wood, I'm not really looking to target in San Francisco, so we can skip over them. I mean, sure, you could play a few bats off them if you want, but I'll be honest, I really don't think it's smart. Luke Weaver's the next guy I'd be looking to, taking on Miami. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's really bad. A 42.8% hard contact rate, a 468 slugging given up to right-handed hitting, and then a 450 slugging given up to lefties. And he's just really bad across the board, specifically against right-handed hitting. And I think that the Miami Marlins could be a sneaky stack that may not get the ownership that they deserve on this slate today. And they have some right-handed power for sure. Guys like Jesus Aguilar, Adam Duvall, Brian Anderson in the middle of the order, going to like those guys. And then you can fill out your stack with guys like Miguel Rojas. Corey Dickerson's a left-handed bat that has some power. And I had mentioned how friendly that right-handed line plays to left-handed hitters in Arizona. And then they're the road team, so they're going to get the guaranteed ninth inning at-bats no matter what, even if they're way up in the game. You don't got to worry about them missing out on those ninth inning at-bats like you do if you play a stack that is the home team. So I think they're a viable stack today, and that's the options I'd be looking to. That's my overall breakdown. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today, without a doubt, is going to be Alex Bregman taking on Jose Suarez. I mentioned his dreadful numbers against righties. Really bad. A 640 slugging, giving up 50.9% hard contact rate, a 443 WOBA. Ground ball rate's terrible, 38.8% of the time. And the fly ball rate's bad as well. He's going to have a lot of issues taking on this Houston Astros righties tonight, and most notably Alex Bregman. On average, Suarez throws a 91 to 92 mile-an-hour fastball about 46% of the time, and Bregman features a 1.071 ISO with a 793 WOBA against that pitch. Absolutely ridiculous numbers. 61.54% hard contact rate. And if Suarez is going to go to a secondary pitch, all he really goes to for the most part is the changeup followed by the curveball. But the changeup he'll be going to about 35% of the time. Bregman features a 229 ISO with a 433 WOBA off that pitch. And as mentioned, he will break out the curveball from time to time. Not quite as much, but Bregman crushes that pitch as well. A 231 ISO with a 423 WOBA, 45% hard contact rate. In Houston, down that left field line, pull hitters plays really well to them, 315 feet down the line. Love this spot for Alex Bregman, and he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Alex Bregman, get him in your lineups. He's going deep tonight, and that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.